What's up, guys? We got a right side Priory commentary. So I know that this dungeon's probably a highly recommended one for commentaries, um, especially going right. So I have been going left most of the season, but in this dungeon we went right. Um, so first of all, I just pause it because we did shroud these first four. I do think if you can skip these first four, it's actually worthwhile. They just make the first pull a lot harder, having an extra four footmen that like you have to stun when they do the defend. So you can shroud past this. You can also lock gate, like on an angle. You can invis pot. Um, you can also, I think you can wait till they're all the way at the bottom, mind soothe, and kind of like jump up onto this ledge. But shrouding or lock gating is definitely the easiest. So we have a rogue, so we're just shrouding, and then I am pulling this knight. This 3-pack here, the mini boss, and this pack over here with one caster. Um, Now, I will say you want to play on the stairs so that you don't get knocked back. It makes this pull quite a joke. Um, and I will say this right side is extremely easy because there's only one caster, so that's no problem to kick. You obviously want to focus the knight here because it's more dangerous than the mini boss actually. For Prot Warrior, when the mini boss does um, his tank buster, quote unquote tank buster shield slam, it doesn't actually do anything to you this season because it's completely blockable. Shield slam is a full physical hit that's blockable, so as long as you have shield block up, you're going to take basically no damage from shield slam. The only thing you're going to take damage from is the thunderclap. Um, so for that reason as well, you want to focus the knight because the knight's actually doing group wide damage. Um, I'll get into more a little bit later in the key on why, the benefits and the cons of going right. Kind of once we get to that point, but I'm gonna go up here and pull the sharpshooter and Lynx pack. Because now that the mini boss is dead, Chainmail is going to come down, which is the next mini boss. What happened there? The shaman died. I think the shaman died to a leap. Just was a little bit low on HP when they got left by a Lynx. So, but Chainmail's up there for some reason decided to stop. Pretty sure Chainmail only runs to where Guard Captain Suleiman dies. So because I had kind of like pulled the mini boss up to the top there at the end of the pull, I think that's why Chainmail stopped there. But anyway, we're gonna do this pull, and then once that pull's almost done, we're gonna pull this other pack of casters over here. And this is basically gonna be the entirety of the second pull. Chainmail is an awesome mini boss to pull trash into because they last so long that you're basically able to do two full trash pulls with them. But anyways, we're gonna finish this pull off, and then we're going up. We're skipping these footmen. We're actually gonna pull them later. You'll see. So this next pull, typically I want to pull this 3-pack here with the footman, sharpshooter, and priest into the night patrol pack that's coming. But because it's not here, I kind of have to wait. There's not a whole lot else I can do while we wait for that night pack. We just ended up getting a bad patrol. So now the thing about the night pack that is revamped since last season is that there is no caster in the night pack. There used to be a caster that you'd have to kick, and now there's not. In addition to them nerfing knights, this pack is just extremely doable, and I would recommend doing it for a count. It's pretty good count. So I'm gonna go over here and pull this knight pack. The knight still should be your priority, and then you just have to kick the priest. There are 3 sharpshooters in this pull as well, so don't be afraid to send stuns or stops on them. You could get like an unlucky double tap or triple tap pot shot on a DPS. So that's the next pull. As you can see, this pull is just getting finished. And then the next pull is we're going to pull this 4-pack in with the mini boss. So I silence those and I go grab the mini boss. Now, I want to talk about this for a second. This is one of the cons of going right. Now, the left mini boss is actually pretty bad too now because the damage reflect is really, really bad. You can kill yourself easily if you pop CDs. Now, the right side, You can pop all the CDs you want into the right side, but the AoE that goes off is absolutely insane. Your DPS and your healer needs to be ready for it, and they weren't, and you'll see what happens in this key. So this heat wave right here, watch how hard this hits, and you see that um, our DH has like a bleed on them from the links, because there's one links in this pack, and check this out. So they're at about 60% HP when this heat wave goes off. And you see the heat wave chunk them again for like 20-30%, and it leaves a dot. So the fact that the DH had a bleed from the links, the heat wave went off and left a magic dot on top of the bleed, it just like killed them. So you as a healer, you need to be aware that if there's a DPS that looks low before that heat wave goes off, they need to be topped. So that's the dangerous part about this mini boss here, is you're going to be playing this mini boss with this trash pack like almost always, and because there's like a bleed that goes out from the links, you just really have to be careful that you're not too low when the heat wave goes off. As you can see, this heat wave goes off again, but this time we're a little bit more healthy, so we should be fine. And it leaves behind magic dots. The rogue probably cloaked it, I'm guessing, which is why they didn't get a dot, or they dwarfed. Another reason why dwarf is so OP this season, right? So anyway, we're popping all cooldowns here. This is the hardest part of the right side by far. If you can pull this, if you can get this pull done on the right side, then you've basically won this side, at least up until first boss. But now that the casters are killed off, I'm gonna go pull this other trash with it. And of course, once Damien here is dead, then Elena Emberlands is gonna come out. So yeah, we've killed that mini boss off. Elena Emberlands is about to come out, and this is the next part of the key I wanted to talk about. I'm trying to see where they're at. So you see her running here. So the benefit of going right is that this mini boss absolutely trucks the tank. So this mini boss does a magic dot on the tank, and being able to play this mini boss separate from the first boss is a huge win for tank survivability. If you go left, you fight Tanner over here, but then you end up playing Emberlands with the boss, and that means that Emberlands is doing a magic dot on you. She also does a magic AoE, like a pulsing damage to the group, on top of you taking a tank bleed, tank buster. So it's just a lot of damage on the tank on the first boss going left. It's something that Prot Warriors struggled with living last season. So I think if you're on a group that can survive Damien, the mini boss, and you have a kick rotation for first boss, I think going right is actually the move, just so that your tank can survive. Because obviously we're going to be playing Tanner with the first boss, and Tanner has to be kicked, so you do need like at least a 3 kick rotation on Tanner, and then the tank just kicks first boss. So I just wanted to break that down. That's kind of the benefit of going right, if you can survive the Damien mini boss. Anyways, we're going to pull Emberlands with this pack. Emberlands doesn't really do much to the group other than the pulsing AoE. It's just a tank that has to press a tank buster. So you'll see this Divine Judgment cast there puts a magic dot on me. Now, the healer can dispel this off of you, or you can just press a defensive. You should be able to live this just natty with a defensive, even without a dispel, but you can see the healer dispels it there. There obviously is 3 Lynxes in here, so there's going to be a lot of bleeds going on in the group. I would say the only thing about this pull is Emberlands is about to do Holy Radiance, which is pulsing AoE, and some people are going to get bleeds, I think, in a second here when the Lynx jump again. So you just want to be careful if you get like a bleed while this AoE is going off, like this DK, that you're just pressing defensives, or you're really focusing them as a healer. Now the nice thing, now this is another benefit about going route, and I do want to pause and talk about this. So when you go left, the only funnel that you can really pull into this boss is this exact same pull on the other side. There's a triple links double sharpshooter pull on the other side that a lot of groups will pull in as funnel to first boss, but of course 2 sharpshooters and 3 lynxes that do bleeds is very dangerous on first boss. Now the nice thing about this side is if you want to pull funnel, as I'm going to fast forward here, is these 4 footmen over here that we skipped when we came up are like perfect funnel targets, because they do absolutely nothing, right? All that they have is a defend that can just be stunned or stopped, but they don't do any kicks, they don't really do anything to the tank, they don't do anything to the group. So these are basically just like target dummies for funnel onto first boss. So that's another benefit of going right is, you know, if we're playing funnel classes like sub, DH, assassination rogue, feral, arcane mage, like there's so many funnel classes this season, um, that it's like perfect to pull those footmen into this boss, and that's only doable on the right side. There isn't any footmen over here that you can really do that with on the left. And then if you might have caught that, I did call it a kick rotation on Tanner because the tank just kicks Dalecry. Um, and that first cast just went off. I reflected it, but now we should be getting the kick rotation on Tanner. Um, 3 kicks should be enough because, you know, 3 melee kicks will lock Tanner out for 4 seconds each, and then if you have a 12-second kick, like or 15-second kick, then it should be off cooldown by the time the fourth one is going out. Obviously, the healer, we have a healer kick in here too, which can help as a backup. I would say that, you know, apologize for pausing so much as key, by the way, but it is Priory, you know. I will say I probably would not go right if you are lacking kicks in a group, right? Because if Tanner gets a cast off on your team, it can be a one-shot on high keys. So, like, let's say you're playing Priest and, like, Warlock or something like that. I would definitely not go right. I don't see how that's possible. Even Priest and, like, a Hunter or something, I probably still wouldn't go right because Hunter has a long CD. I would basically only go right if you're playing a bunch of classes that have short CD kicks so that you can actually fully get a kick rotation on Tanner. So going right definitely is comp dependent, but if you can, I still would recommend it. Now I'll let this play. Let's see what else they're talking about. Yeah, this is just a lot easier to live as a tank without Elena Emberlands here. You basically just press a defensive on Dalecry. There's no AoE to worry about. There's no magic dot. It's just the pierce armor. So it's just a lot less of a cognitive load on the tank. The only other thing you really have to do here is position the boss correctly, moving them out of the AoE puddles. And because we cleared off so much trash on this left side, you can just like play this whole area. The patrol is dead. That pack over there is dead. So I wouldn't worry too much about space on this area. You should have plenty of space to work with. So, but anyways, yeah, it's basically just rinse and repeat. I'm gonna skip this a little bit. Last thing is, as the boss is getting low, you may not always be able to do this, but if you can save a defensive for the next pull, that's gonna help you drastically, because I would say the next pull is probably the hardest part of this entire dungeon, other than the first boss. So you can see I actually don't have any defensives right now going to this next pull. I had to use all of them on this boss. You know, it is a 15. I think I was only like 706 eye level maybe in this key. But this next pull is going to be a lust pull. We're going to pull this front four, the middle pack, and the one on the right side. The one on the pack on the right side only has one caster. We are waiting for CDs though. The DH CDs coming up in 11 seconds. The rogues are going to come up in about 30. The DK does have his. But we're just going to wait a little bit so those cooldowns are a little bit closer to being off CD, which is perfect for me because I'm going to have shield wall in about 15 seconds. The good thing is I do have cheat death available, which is this, so if I do happen to take a lot of damage on pull, I'm not going to die right away. But yeah, this is just a lust in all CDs. You'll see how I do this. What you should never do is charge to this pack and just naturally walk to this other pack, because you will get hit in the back a bunch by these guys. So what you have to do is you have to charge in and then leap. That way you don't get hit in the back a bunch by the first four. I throw Ravager over there to get all of them. And I did actually drop quite low there in proc cheat, so it's a good thing that I had it. Just make sure you kick this priest. If a kick goes off on that priest in this pull, it can one-shot people, especially when there's the Sacred Toll AoEs going up from the Paladins. You see the DK put AMZ there, which is nice. And you'll see how sketchy it is with my health. I even popped Stone Form for 10% DR. Because my cheat death is already down and I don't have any defensives. And I don't have health pot because I probably use it on first boss. So we do have Link and Darkness, which is good. So we definitely are going to survive this pull. But you can kind of see how sketchy it can be on high keys. I did misplay a little bit while I was pulling. I probably could have avoided taking so much damage and proccing cheat. I was probably too focused on getting aggro and not really watching my health bar as much as I should have. So, but anyways, once this pull is kind of stabilized, which we're pretty much getting to that point, and this low health paladin is going to be finished off, you can go into the next pull. If you have a good healer, they should be able to heal like 3 to 4 paladins at once. So, um, yeah, so that pull is almost done. So I'm going to go into the next pull. And typically you want to focus the caster here so that you can go into chain into the next pull. You just don't want too many casters in these pulls because the paladins are doing AoEs. So to like try and get 3 kicks in an uncoordinated group plus, you know, heal up all the paladin AoEs can be hectic. So we just finish off this priest and then we go into the next pull, which is this. And we've seen all these mobs already, so I'm probably going to skip this part. It's just much of the same. We're finishing off all the trash in this area. And then, yeah, and then we pull the second boss. Thing about the second boss is I would never tank him in the middle. You always want to tank him off to like one of the corners so that you have a lot of room to move away from the swinging hammers. And then when he spawns this pyre, you also just want to stay away from it because he's going to cast Cascade Shield, and that allows us to safely move away and then do these soaks. If you have a DK in your group like we do, the DK can solo an entire set, which is usually every second set. I always found it no big deal to take the first and second one here. So I do take another one there. Once the first dot drops off here, you can definitely take a second one as a tank. I just wouldn't take another one before this dot drops off. Otherwise, it's going to be a lot of damage. So we're going to finish this off. This next pull, a bunch of the same mobs we've already seen. Paladins, 2 casters. Again, there's no pull here that's like extremely easy. Like there still is a lot of damage going out here. You still have to get these kicks. Otherwise someone can be one shot. But I'm going to go ahead and skip this. Now, I do want to talk about this pull at the top of the stairs. I know a lot of people, especially pugs, would pull them out into the hallway. You actually don't want to do that because now you have such a little amount of space to work with here, and then you end up kiting down the stairs, which is kind of awkward. You actually want to start inside. Because what you can do is you can throw an axe over here, and the mage is going to target you first, obviously, because you aggroed it first, and you just spell reflect this first cast, and this mage is going to run right over. So even if you don't have a DK, as long as you're the first one within range and this cast is on you, you can just spell reflect it and it'll run over. So you'll see you have spell reflect up, spell reflect, and the mage runs over. So this is where you want to play them to start so that you have all this room to back up. And these mages, if this fireball volley goes off, it's basically gonna like almost one shot your entire team. This is the most important thing to kick in this pull. And then we obviously have the light spawn that once the light spawn gets to 25% HP, it's going to do like an AoE, and you have to pull all the mobs out of the AoE, otherwise they're going to get healed, and you'll kind of see me doing that at the end here. So this light spawn is about to be at 25% HP. You'll see it start casting the AoE. And you want to start moving like before it gets to 25%. So like I would say like around 27-28%, you want to start pre-moving out so when it starts casting it, the mobs are already almost out of the AoE. You do not want these mobs to get healed. It'll cost you a lot of time. So the next thing I do is this 6-pack on the left side. I'm just waiting for the patrol to kind of be out of range. And always drag this pack back immediately so that when the patrol comes back, you don't accidentally aggro it. Fighting this with the patrol at the same time will probably be a wipe. It's just too many casters and like double light spawns. So, but anyways, we've seen these mobs, so I'm gonna fast forward this. And you do have to kind of be aware of where the patrol is here because if you do not pull the patrol at the right time, you're gonna lose a lot of time as well. You want to pull the patrol when it's in front here. You don't want to pull it when it's over here because it will aggro this pack, or over here. The sweet spot is like right in this like front area. There's like a 5-second window where it's easy to pull these without aggroing the mini boss. And you'll see here, I see that it's coming, so I say grips ready, and right directly in front is where you want to pull it because it's the furthest from the middle. So what you can do is you can throw an axe and you see that they're both targeting me right away, which is completely fine. So I put Spell Reflect up, and the DK I think is going to grip one, and then you just make sure you get aggro on the rest. So yeah, there's a grip. So, and then just make sure you get aggro. And so yeah, you don't have to worry about those casts going on anyone else when you first pull them, because they're just going to go on the tank and they're not going to one-shot you or anything. You can just Spell Reflect. So anyways, we're going to finish this pack off, then we're going to go into the mini boss. And now, because we've cleared the area, we can safely pull the mini boss. And you do want to chain into this other pack back here when it's safe. I think I was just checking trash percentage for a second. I think I was checking to see if I need this patrol guy over here, and I think we do, which is why I was waiting. Because I want to wait until he starts running away from this pack so that I can pull him in with the mini boss. So yeah, you'll see I tagged him right there, and because we needed it for percentage. This Blazing Strike, you want to pop a Tank Buster on. It can get really scary if you don't. Wasn't too bad on a 15, but on like an 18, that's going to truck you. But yeah, as soon as these casters are a little bit lower, I think I'm going to chain. You don't want 3 casters for too long in this pull, because you probably will run out of stops. I think I'm waiting for silence. I have silence coming up in a second. I'm going to silence them here. I'm holding it. There. I silenced everything, and the DK gripped that far one over. Again, a lot of the same mobs. The only difference is the mini boss is pulsing AoE to the group and doing a tank buster. So we're going to finish that pack off. And then you can see right here, this is the last percentage we need. We're going to pull it into the last boss for funnel. Because the only thing we have to kick is the priest. The last boss does not need to be kicked. I can just Spell Reflect most of them, and even if I don't Spell Reflect it, it doesn't really hurt the tank at all. You'll see it's on me here. It did like, what, 5% HP? Doesn't really do anything, so. Anyways, nothing really to talk about here. It's really easy as a tank to tank this first spot, this first boss. Now I will say, when you go upstairs, this is where you're going to want to pop your damage potion, all your CDs. You want to burn through the shield as fast as possible so that you can kick this AoE pulse from going out. And you'll see here as well, I would go into battle stance here. You want to pump out as much damage as possible. This is one of those niche situations as a tank where you don't actually care about being tanky and you just want to do as much DPS as possible. So you can definitely go into battle stance here. And if you have group members with slows or roots, you can put them, like you see the polymorph or the mass polymorph going out there. I shockwave those. Once this boss is kicked, you can also pull it back. You want to be pulling it back to give your DPS room to not get hit by these adds. Once you're in this part of the fight where you've kicked the shield, you've moved the boss back, all these adds are dead, it's basically GG. Like, I pretty much know at this point that we're timing the key. There's not much else to talk about. I put GG, like 35% lift on the boss. I mean, we have 2 battle reses, timer is good, we're all healthy, so it's just a given. So we timed the key. This is actually only my 3rd 15 timed of the season, so it was a big key, especially being 2 minutes and 50 seconds under. That tells me that we can time a 16 with the same group in the same route. You know, typically 2 minutes under time tells you can time a key higher. So yeah, hopefully this was really helpful getting a right side commentary, you guys. Leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. Shout out to all of the Patreon members. It's because of your support that I'm able to continue making Protection Warrior and World of Warcraft content. Thank you.